Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
What do you think of when I say the word Pharisee? Legalism? Hypocrisy? The wealthy elite of the Jews who were always against Jesus, trying to trap him? People who hated Jesus enough to have him killed? People who John the Baptist called snakes, and Jesus referred to as whitewashed sepulchres full of dead men's bones? Well, in Matthew 23, Jesus pronounces a list of woes on them. We don't necessarily think of a Pharisee as a good guy, but the people of Jesus' day did. They were the teachers, the scholars of the day. Their lives were literally by the book. They kept the law to the letter. The name Pharisee means separated. Everything they did was for people to see. Their phylacteries were bigger, their tassels lengthened, their prayers more pious. The 6,000 Pharisees of Jesus' day were at the heart of the corrupt Jewish religious system and were the very model of hypocrisy. But they had an impeccable reputation, and they were in charge. Out of those 6,000, very few are recorded to have come to a saving knowledge of Jesus. Nicodemus, the head teacher of the Pharisees, one of the most respected men in all of Israel, had heard Jesus' authority in his preaching, seen his zeal in cleaning up the temple, and witnessed the miracles that he did while he was in Jerusalem for Passover. These signs completely convinced him that Jesus was a prophet sent from God. He'd been waiting for a Messiah all his life. Could this be him? He didn't know, but he wanted to learn more. This head Pharisee came to Jesus at night, maybe because Jesus had too many people around him during the day, but possibly because Nicodemus was afraid the other Pharisees would see him. We don't know, but he did come with a humble, receptive heart and a hungry soul. I imagine he had reached the pinnacle of his religion and realized his heart was just as empty at the top as it had been on the bottom. He'd done all that he knew to do to please God, but he didn't feel like he was any closer to God. He literally had nowhere else to go. It seems like he wanted more than just an intellectual belief. He'd been taught, and had taught others, that righteous works and keeping the law would make a person right with God. But he realized Jesus was teaching something different, radically different, something he wanted to learn more about. Something he needed. Nicodemus sat down with Jesus, just the two of them. He started out by affirming Jesus. He said, "Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher come from God, for no one can do these signs that you do unless God is with him." He called Jesus Rabbi, as if he were the student and Jesus the teacher. Now that's humility for an upper-level Pharisee for sure. But get the next thing he said. We know that you are a teacher come from God. We who? Other Pharisees. These enemies of Jesus knew that he was from God, even in this early stage of his ministry. His miracles gave proof of that. Didn't it put them at odds with God when they went against him? They didn't just think that he was from God, they knew it. Those miracles connected him with God and showed that he had a divine mission. The Pharisees knew this, but Nicodemus was the only one who searched Jesus out and truly wanted to hear from God. Now, if you got to sit down with Jesus one-on-one, like Nicodemus, what would you say? What questions would you ask? Well, guess what? You have the opportunity to do that anytime you like. It's called prayer. And like Nicodemus's conversation with Jesus, it's good to start our time with God by affirming what we know about who he is, using his titles like teacher, savior, king, or reminding yourself of his attributes like compassion, love, forgiveness. And as we'll see with Nicodemus, God knows our hearts. if we come to Him with honest questions and a humble spirit, He will give us more than we ask for and reveal more of Himself than we can understand. What would you like to talk to Jesus about today?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.